I'm Debbie of Three Women Voices. Today, I welcome you. My voice, your voice, and our third voice is Juliet N. Jones, who motivates others to achieve excellence. But first and foremost, she is a Christian woman. In addition, she is a certified business consultant and a life coach trainer who went from zero to CEO of her very own company. Not to mention, she is a radio host, a talk show host, and even an author who serves her community as an NAACP board member. Her favorite quote is, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great." So tell me, what does it mean to you?
Well, first, I want to say, Debbie, thank you so much for allowing me this amazing opportunity just to share my story, to meet you and all of your listeners. Thank you again for the opportunity to be
You're
on.
so welcome. Yes.
Yes. So what does it mean to be me?
What does it mean? Your quote, yes.
Wow. Well, a lot of times people think you have to start out with all of this extra.
Yes.
And they feel like, you got to be great to get started. You got to do this, you've got to do that. And you don't have to be. You can just be authentically you. God created you in his likeness and his image. And he wants to take that person. He wants to take all the talent and gifts that he put in you and make it great. So I don't want people to fear that, oh, maybe I'm not where I need to be, or maybe I have to have all these extra prerequisites. God will take you right where you are and
all
move
right
you to the next level. So that's
all right. Yes. And that's good to know because some people may not know that.
That's right. That's right.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, I'm just a girl from
Yes.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I wasn't born privileged or rich or famous. My mom was a single mom, and that struggle was real. And it was tough growing up. Like many single mothers out there, I know they can relate. And it's hard when you have to do it all by yourself and on your own. But I dared to dream. And it's been a challenge, and it's been a lot of obstacles, and it hasn't been easy, but I refuse to give up. So I'm crazy enough to still believe that all things truly are possible through Christ. And so I'm a mother. I'm a happy mom of two amazing children. And, I did it by myself. And I just kept saying mediocrity is not going to be an option. I remember when I really had hit rock bottom. Rock bottom for me. And I'll never forget, I was living in New Jersey. I was just recently divorced and I lost my job. I just couldn't pay my bills, couldn't make ends meet. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I watched all of my belongings as we drove away in a car that was about to be repossessed. And I watched all my furniture and all my items on the front of the yard as we pulled away from our home at the time.
Wow. Okay.
And that was a hard moment for me because I thought, what do I do? Where do I go from here? Which goes back to the quote, you don't have to be great to get started. You have to get started to be great. And I remember crying all the way back on the highway. So the kids wouldn't see me, but I was, sniffling, trying to act like it was allergies because I thought, what do I do now? I'm a divorced single mom with two kids and I lost my job. I have nowhere to live now. I'm in a car they're about to take. And so I came back home to Pennsylvania and I decided that I never wanted to be in that position or have that feeling again. I knew like the gym, and I like to use the gym because that's a hard one for me, Debbie. Get things straightened out. I'm gonna tell you, I done tried that thing a million times and we still at it. But it takes determination, dedication, and commitment when you set that goal. But you got to work it before you get the six pack, before you lose the weight, body. It's not going to be easy, but if you stay the course, eventually you'll get the return on that investment, right?
Yes, that's right.
That's right. That's the attitude I took for life. With the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Amen.
Amen.
And I said, with that, I'm going to set a goal to go after my dream, and I did, and that's what led me to where I am today.
Okay. So what did you learn about yourself in the process, like of your struggles and how you became to be the person that you are today? How did you get from, well, I'm going to say zero to CEO?
Wow. You said it right. Zero, as in broke and broken, to thrive and surviving. I learned that I was stronger than I thought. I learned that I was a lot stronger than I even gave myself credit for. I also learned that I wasn't going to be able to do it alone. That It was going to take God. It was going to take faith, even in things unseen. Before it
Yes.
happened, I had to realize that there is a preparation and a process and a season for everything.
Okay.
And I learned that, and I don't throw this around when I say things are truly possible through Christ who strengthens us, that once you get in relationship and understand that that setback is only preparing you for a comeback.
Yes.
Even better than where you were before.
Yes, that's right.
So with that and my own self determination to not fail my children, look like I failed in front of my family and friends, that also helped give me that extra little push.
Yes.
To keep going and to keep pushing. And I'm glad that I did, because I remember listening to T.D. Jakes one day and a few other amazing speakers out there and pastors that said, if you're going to go through something, why not continue going through it and get a reward for the pain? Why go through it or stop halfway through? I might as well see it
Just
through.
go,
I have nothing else to lose. I'm already broke, busted, and disgusted. So it's not going to be no worse than that.
That's right.
I might as well get through it and get rewarded for what I went through. And that's what led me from zero to CEO.
Okay. What a story. So now if somebody is in that predicament where they feel stuck and don't know what to do, what would be some key things that you would tell them to get through it?
I would tell them to understand first that they're not alone. Because a lot of times when you're going through something, we as a people tend to feel like we're the only one.
Okay.
I know there's lots of times I felt like I was the only person in that situation.
Okay.
And I don't know, if you or anybody else ever felt like when you're going through something, you ask yourself, am I the only one? Is this only happening to me?
Yes.
Especially when you have friends and family that you may be around that at that moment that's not happening for them.
Okay. Yes.
Social media today, and you see all the everybody posting this and posting that, and you feel like, wow, here I am in a situation.
Yes. Situation. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's temporary. It's a temporary situation. Not the only person that's going through it. You just can't see the other people who may be in that same boat or even worse.
Right.
So I would tell them to first realize that they're not alone. They're not the only one. That there is a blueprint to get you through. What got me through was realizing that I needed to be healthy in 5 areas of my life, and that was spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially, because we got to have that balance, right?
Yes, balance. Yes.
And I believe that what a man or a woman thinks, they begin to speak. And what they speak, they begin to believe, and what they believe will ultimately become your reality.
Yes.
And I got tired of being tired.
Okay.
Tired. So I started to change my mindset. I kept hearing all these people talking about it, and it sounded good. But I'm like, well, how? How do I do that? How do I just change my mindset? Because it's not an overnight process.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Back to the gym. You can get on that treadmill on Sunday. When you wake up, you're not going to have that 6-pack on Monday.
That's right.
I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't work that fast.
Yes.
If you show up every day for the next 3 to 6 months, then you may see 1, 2, 3 packs coming through.
Yes.
And that's how it works in life. And, I just want to encourage anybody that's listening that you're not alone, to realize that you can do it. Give yourself a little more credit than what you probably are giving yourself. And to start with positive affirmations and scripture. And just say it every single day until you really start to believe it. Because it's one thing to say it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to manifest.
Right.
You have to really believe it. And set short goals, short, realistic goals. A lot of times we have a tendency, we want the big pie. Right away.
Quick too.
That's right. We have that microwave mentality. Because I don't know about you, but I'll stand there with my TV dinner like, Jesus, this is the longest 60 seconds. 3.5 minutes. I'm hungry now.
Oh, that's funny.
It's not 3.5 minutes when you're hungry.
Yes.
When my mom was cooking and she said, I'm going to bake chicken. I'm like, bake? That's 2.5 hours from now. I'm trying to eat tonight. But the baked meal is always better than the microwave meal, right?
Yes, that's
A
right.
lot of times you got to wait, wait on that thing. And it does take time, but it is worth it in the end. And sometimes because we can't see the end and we can't see the future,
Okay.
we're uncertain.
Okay,
But you
yes.
look back at where you were and how far you've come so far, and you're still living and breathing and alive and not in the hospital, not on a ventilator machine.
Yes, thank God. Yes.
Amen. And have that attitude of gratitude and reflect on what your future self will thank you for.
Yes, yes. Okay, so now what have you taught your daughter? And I know you have a son. So what have you taught your kids about life, about love, happiness, and being strong?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, the first thing I taught them is to dream, build, win, which is my motto. Definitely.
Dream, build, win. Okay.
Yeah, go after your dream. You can build that dream and you can win. To put God first over everything.
Okay.
And to be okay with failure.
Okay.
A lot of times people think if they fail, that means they're disqualified. And they're not. The only way to learn from a mistake is to make a mistake.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? We're not imperfect people. Then, we'd be God. So
yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's
and
right.
then we would have no need for him.
That's right.
If everything was right all the time and we were perfect, he would be able to show us just how awesome and miraculous he was if everything always went the way we thought it should go.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
so
right.
I teach them to keep him first and to know that it's okay to fail. Now, let's not make the same mistake over and over again.
Over and over, yes.
Yes, defining the definition of insanity. But it's okay to make a mistake, learn from that mistake, keep it moving. And in life, don't always compare success to financial, to just money, because money is not the only thing that can make you happy. Happiness is an inside job that comes from within, and it's a choice. You can wake up and choose to be happy.
Yes.
You can choose to not be happy.
Yes, that's right.
Despite the circumstances, there's something you can be happy about. And a lot of times we take those little things for granted, but I'll wake up and say, I'm happy that I can breathe because somebody's in a hospital and they need that machine to keep them alive.
Yes, what a way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's so many lessons in that, like if you stop focusing on your problems, because there's always other people that's doing worse,
That's right.
Thankful for what you have.
That's right.
Yes. So I have a question for you that I really think you're going to enjoy. To. What's your why?
Ooh, I love that question. How much time do we have? Because I'm one of those people who really do care because I've been through it. So it's one thing, I was telling my girlfriend the other day, I said, I feel like Harriet Tubman. So she found the Underground Railroad, did all that running and traveling.
Yes.
But she came back and got everybody else. And those who wanted to break free, they followed. So I feel like I'm not just looking out for self. There's a purpose, and I want to serve, and I want to see other people be successful too. And as a mother raising 2 children, I really do care. I have a heart for people, a heart for single moms, because I am a single mom.
Yes.
And I know that I could have given up. I could have tried other things that could have landed me in any position or even not being here.
Okay.
But I didn't. And so I vowed to not just myself and my children, but to other single moms, not to let them down.
Yes, that's
or
right.
Any parent that's going through a difficult time with, having a dream. Because I always thought growing up, and a lot of people may think this, your parents make it seem so easy. Because when they're holding down the fort and you don't have the pressures of the world on your shoulders and your meals provided every day and, no matter how it comes, you don't really know life. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes we need the right people to coach you, because some people aren't in a position where they're taught that at home.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Or they have the opportunity to have a coach, whether it's, a coach at school or not at school. So I wanted to be that coach for those who grew up like me, who didn't. Now, I was lucky to have my mother who knew the Lord, and she was able to instill that. But again,
right.
people come from broken home situations of abuse, neglect,
Yeah.
where I had to say, you know, I thank God I wasn't in that type of situation, but there are other people that are. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to share what I found, like Harriet Tubman, and say, listen, I've got this Underground Railroad. On the other
Yeah.
side, you can be free.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been through it. But, you know, it's up to the person if they want to take that chance and make that change.
Okay.
Free from their mindset and their situation.
Okay. So I guess you can say that's what motivates you. That was my next question. What motivates you to put and pushes you to do what you do?
Because mediocrity is no longer an option. I remember when years ago I used to cry and get so frustrated when the holidays came around because I felt like I was never prepared financially.
Oh.
And my children used to say, it's okay, Mom. You know how we do. So we'll get a couple things now and the rest we'll get in February because that was
Right.
income tax check.
Right. Right.
And I just felt bad because I felt like I shouldn't even be in a position where I can't afford to get them the things that they want for Christmas.
Right. Okay.
They were oblivious because, you know, you make it look like you've been there, done that. You can make it happen. And
Yeah.
us moms, we know how to make something out of nothing.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So I said to myself, I don't ever want to be able to say I can't do this and not properly financially or emotionally or physically and spiritually prepare myself ahead of time for that.
Okay.
And so I took the time to start getting myself in preparation. So
Mm-hmm.
that motivated me to want better because I realized the only person that's able to change my situation was me.
That's right.
My mom couldn't do it. My dad couldn't do
That's
it.
right.
My kids couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I couldn't do, I had to say, well, God, I have to accept the things I cannot change.
That's right.
But, you know, the serenity prayer, I said, but
Yes.
what I can't do, I have to put my faith that you can do the rest. And he has done it.
Right.
I was
Right.
able to go from that to being able to get them what they want for Christmas, properly planning. I started
Mm-hmm.
putting myself around people that were trying to get to that level. And I started doing something, Debbie, that I did not like to do. I was not a reader. I
Okay.
did not like to read except for,
Okay.
you know, little gossip magazines
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people. I want to see what, you know, is going on in somebody else's world.
Right.
I wasn't a big reader, but I started to read because education and knowledge is so key and so powerful in helping you grow as an individual.
That's
And
right.
that helped me. That helped keep me motivated.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that gives you like the weapons that you need, other than like God's weapons.
Yes.
That gives you the inner weapons
Absolutely.
to fight. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So now, what have been some roadblocks for you getting from where you were to where you are now?
Myself won
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't take the time to celebrate the small wins.
Okay.
I was so focused on the bigger goal that when I
Mm-hmm.
was accomplishing little goals along the way, I forgot to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate them
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
realize I am successful because I can be successful the way that I define it and not by the way the world defines it.
Right. Yes.
And I learned that you don't have to be famous to be impactful.
Okay.
You don't have to be perfect to be
Uh-huh.
influential.
Okay.
You can be authentically you as long as you're being a good you. And it was no longer about me. It was about others. That
Okay.
I actually am possessing something that other people need.
Okay.
And so I realized that's contagious because somebody has something I need and I have
Mm-hmm.
something somebody else needs. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started not focusing on me,
Mm-hmm.
then that's when the picture became more clear that this was bigger than me. This
Okay.
was about other people
Yes.
and
Yes.
how I can serve them and help them, which is ultimately what we were designed to do,
To
right?
do anyway. That's right.
It's our purpose to
That's right.
spread the gospel and to use our
Yes.
gift and talent to serve others. And so
Mm-hmm.
my goal is to help people figure out what their purpose is and to be
Mm-hmm.
that coach, like that trainer in the gym that says, come on
Yes.
now, give me two more. I know you got it in you because I know what their goals are and I
Yes.
want to help them reach them.
Okay. I know you're a motivational speaker. So what are some empowering messages that you give to women who may be feeling like I'm stuck, feeling low self-esteem, things like that?
Sure. Well, first, it ties into the previous question is knowing that you are going to have those roadblocks. You are going to have days where it seems like things aren't going your way.
Okay.
When you're starting out, especially in business as an entrepreneur, simply put, it takes money to make money. That was hard for me to swallow. I'm still, Jesus, joking on that one. But it takes money to make money, and you have to be willing to invest in you. And before you can make an investment, you have to get yourself, somewhat financially educated and learn how to save and what you need in order to invest.
Yes.
So you start seeing that return. So
Okay.
I want them to know that there's a preparation. So comparing that to sports, you don't just get out there and start playing football and then you expect to win the championship.
Yes.
They're in intense training for a long period of time before they even get to the
field.
To
that level. Yes. Yes.
There's a playbook, there's plays, and I'm not even in sports, but I know that much.
Yeah.
For all things, even a boxer, like there's training that has to take place, even if he's an experienced boxer, before he just goes into the next fight.
Yes.
You gotta get prepared for that.
That's right.
So I try to get people to understand that you've got to get yourself prepared in those 5 areas I talked about in order to really feel like you are ready to tackle your dream and to get to the next step and next level, and to understand that those roadblocks that we were talking about and setbacks are going to happen, because that's just life.
It's life. Yes.
Life, it's just life.
Yes.
How you react to those obstacles that help build you stronger. And that's when I said in the beginning, we talked about how what I learned from my process was that I was stronger than I thought. Because I look back and I go, wow, broken, no money to invest. I had to start saving money. I started out literally with a piggy bank.
Okay.
I kept putting change in it. One day I had $50. I got $50.
Oh boy, yes.
Start with 50, gonna turn into 500.
That's right.
And then I ended up with my Glam Vicious team, partnering with them on how to make 5K in 30 days. Got that out. Started realizing that sometimes you start small.
Yes.
And so what I tell them is, again, that quote, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
Yes.
I tell them there are 365 days in a year, Debbie. So that's 365 opportunities to start over.
Yes, that's right.
And I tell them recharge, refuel, restart, because that's what I did when I was tired of being tired. And that's talking about in the book how to get healthy in those 5 areas so that they are prepared to live their dream and their best life today. Yep.
Tell me what each one of those steps are. Like, tell me what they mean.
Okay. Recharge, I look at that like a battery. So we're on our phones all the time, every day, but it doesn't run nonstop. It needs a moment to charge up.
Right.
And a lot of times as dreamers, when we're so excited about going after our dream, especially new entrepreneurs, when we're in business, we find that we work a lot harder than we were when we were building somebody else's dream, right? So we need to not burn out. We need to take time to recharge.
Okay.
Take a step back and have that work-life balance, because God and family over everything.
Yes, yes.
It's not worth losing that, being burned out. Because if you burn yourself out physically and mentally, then you're no good.
That's right.
And you can't be any good to anybody else.
That's right.
Yeah, so recharge is knowing to take that moment to say, I need to recharge my battery so that I can continue being all that I can be when I am fully charged up.
Okay.
Refuel, I look at that just like the vehicle. You need the gasoline to keep going, or the car can't move. So we need those basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible, positive affirmations, and if somebody else don't motivate you, motivate yourself.
Yes.
Google and YouTube are the most amazing things that have ever come out.
Okay.
It's free, and you can find great affirmations online to help you going. My book, Tired of Being Tired, Recharge, Refuel, Restart.
Yes.
So many other books out there. So definitely that's going to be the gas to keep you going. I even do it. I'll sit in my car some mornings, and if it's one of those days that I'm like, okay, need a little motivation here, I'll start playing it. I'll play something positive to keep me going, because you need that.
Okay.
Skills, get with your coach, your life coach, somebody that can motivate you. And if you can't get somebody, motivate yourself.
Yes. So
It's
how did you
free.
find the time to write a book with you being so busy?
Ooh, well, that goes into the last
Oh, well,
part.
I should say, because you wrote more than one book. So
Yeah,
yes, yes. How
yeah.
did you find the time?
Oh my goodness. Well, the last part of that was restart. So that falls right in line with that is I tried to write my first book for like the first 4 years. And I
Okay.
kept rewriting it and rewriting it because I thought it wasn't perfect.
Okay.
And then I realized it didn't have to be perfect. Because if
Okay.
I get a hold of something and I'm literal Jones, I'm gonna have that thing for the next 10 years and it's always never going to be the way that I think it should be before I put it.
Yes, yeah.
So I thought if I don't get this thing out there and get this thing away from my fingertips, it's
Uh-huh.
never going to go out. Because I'm
That's
always
right.
going to go, oh, I could have made that better. I should have said that way. Maybe I should have added this.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell my story. It does not
Mm-hmm.
have to be perfect. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about what other people think. As long
Mm-hmm.
as I'm giving it my best as
That's
version
right.
me, and I'm
That's
giving
right.
it my truth.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to tell my story. And those that it's going to help is what it was going to be meant to be for.
That's right.
So I went ahead and I just did it. And after
Okay.
4 years, I finally put the book out. And then
Okay.
that led me, once you kind of get going, it's like, once you see that one pack, you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, yes, I lost a few pounds. I got a 1 pack or a 2 pack. You get excited and you want to keep going
Keep
and
going.
you don't know how to stop then. It's one
Yes.
thing in the beginning, you don't know how to get there
Yes.
to even get going because I
Yes.
tried and I fell off. And Jesus, I got to go back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start seeing those results, then
Yes.
it makes it easier to want to dig back into it. And so that's
Okay.
how it happened with the writing. Once I got it
Okay.
out there, I couldn't stop myself. So I did.
Yeah,
I have a new
okay.
book coming out, a co-author edition called The Parentpreneur Survival Guide.
The parentpreneur should not. Wait,
That's okay.
that was a
That's what
tongue
they say
twister.
it 5 times real fast.
Yeah. Say it again.
The Parentpreneur
Okay.
Survival Guide.
Okay, got you. I'm
Yep,
not going to say it again this time.
for today's parents that are also entrepreneurs.
Yes. Okay.
We want to
Okay.
help them out too, because a lot of times I look at them as super moms and super dads and super parents that need to encourage other parents to, it's okay, because being a
Mhm.
full-time parent is a full-time job,
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
but it is possible to do
Mhm.
both.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, Juliet, what does it feel like to be a boss lady?
Wow. I'm humble,
Okay.
really humble. I've come
Okay.
a long way, but it feels good. It
Okay.
does. It feels good because I can see all my hard work paying off to that moment
Mm-hmm.
and being able to know that I do have something that is genuinely my own. So
Okay.
I call it the fruit from my labor.
Okay.
And it's a good feeling because it's my evidence of hard work
Okay.
and determination.
Okay. So now, does it feel lonely sometimes? Like, are you lonely?
Ooh,
Like, how
Debbie.
do you handle the naysayers?
Yes, it is lonely at the
Okay.
top. And
Okay.
I used to hear people say that and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't understand it,
Okay.
but I had to realize that sometimes depending on what you're going after, you may have to
Mhm.
step away from friends or family to
Okay.
pursue that thing.
Okay.
And in doing that, you have less time because you're taking up, because money is and time are both two very valuable things
Yes.
in our life.
Okay.
And sometimes when you're utilizing your extra time for your dream, you
Mm-hmm.
lose the extra time for the extracurricular activities with family
Mm-hmm.
or friends that you may have had when you weren't pursuing that dream.
Yes,
So
correct.
it can
Yes.
seem lonely because you're now using that time to go after your goals.
Okay.
And yes, in doing that, you lose the time for everything
Okay.
else. But I try to still have a balance.
Okay.
With that, now there are moments where I'm grinding
Okay.
and, I don't have the time. But I don't grind too hard to where I'm burned out
Okay.
and I don't make time when it's needed so
Okay.
that the family doesn't suffer behind me trying to, grind. But sometimes, yeah, it does get lonely because you've got to
Okay.
use your time for other things and you can't use it for what you used to use it for.
Yes. So now how does it work with you and dealing with men who are professionals, and how do they look at you, and then do you find it hard for you to date if you're dating?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I'm a Black woman. Let's start there.
Okay.
We've come a long way, women
Yes.
in business
Yes.
alone. And that's always going to be the silent but visible corporate structure when you are a woman and in business.
Yes.
It's gotten a lot better. I won't say it's at its best,
Okay.
but it's definitely far more along than where we were. And I see more and more women bossing up and saying, you know, I can do this too. And I
Yes.
love that because it shows that not only men have gift and talent,
Yes.
that women have it too. Now, I'm not saying be a different role in terms of, you know, trying to do it all, because we are designed to be who we are. So a man in his role in the family should be just that. And the woman in her role should be just that. And you two balance one another out.
Right.
And supporting each other and helping each other reach each other's greatest potential, the way that God designed it. But I love that women are more empowered to step away from the classic barefoot and pregnant.
That's right. That's a good thing.
Yes. And are holding it down while still giving birth to children.
Yes.
Being a wife.
Yes.
So they some serious bosses. I call them like a triple and quadruple threat.
Yes.
That they can do it. And I think men are respecting that more, as long as she's, again, being authentically her, true to herself, and being the best version of herself.
Okay.
They actually, a good man will see that as a way of building an empire together.
Yes.
A woman who also can bring something to the table. And I use an ongoing joke that when people ask me, what do I bring to the table? I bring the table.
I like that. Yes.
So then we can get started from there. But it is difficult in dating because of the time. So being so focused on reaching goals sometimes doesn't allow for time after you reach goals, and then you're making time for family and friends to also say, I'm going to squeeze in dating.
Right. Okay.
And now this day and age, with so much going on in the world, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm a lot more skeptical, because, you know, everything that glitter is not gold.
That's right.
You might go out on that date Monday and they can't find you on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true.
But I definitely, all jokes aside, I've learned to wait on God for the right time and the right season, for me to be ready for the right mate.
Okay.
And I am open to dating the right way. But I'm not over anxious about it, feeling like I'm missing out.
Got it.
Like I did before and ended up in the wrong situation.
Yes.
That God didn't intend for me.
Okay.
Sometimes we can be so excited about something we want. If it doesn't line up with what He has for you, then you're putting yourself in a situation that was never designed for you to be in anyway.
And then we ask, why did it happen?
Exactly.
We went against the grain, you know.
That's right.
Yes. So now I have a question that is really like, this is about average women. Like, they look at you and they say, well, she has this and she has that. I can't identify with her. What would you say to them, like, to get them sparked and motivated to, like, change their life?
This is what I say when I hear that. Literally, I say, child. Stop playing. We have the same thing. We have a brain in our head, 2 arms, 2 legs, or, you know, whatever it is. We were born with the same thing called opportunity. It's just the choices that I've made led me to where I am compared to choices other people have made. But the good thing about choice is that it never stops. You can re-choice, restart, refuel, recharge. You can always make a different choice at any point in your life and at any age in your life. So on one hand, yes, I get that, because they may be looking now at, okay, this is where I am because of the 10-year process it took me to get here. And they may be just starting, but they can get there. And if they utilize the tools a lot quicker and faster, and I go back to that gym, you're in there 5 days a week and I only in there 3, you just may catch up in 5, you know?
Right.
So I encourage them to not think that, because they don't see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't see the struggle before the reward. So they don't see the person sweating on the treadmill, crying and fussing, sad when that donut passed by and you know you want to take a bite of that. You can't, and everybody else eating cake and cupcakes at the party. And you're like, oh Lord, that smells so good. And I love cake. So want a piece of cake and can't have it. So they don't see all that stuff. They see the result. But they don't see you when you're at the gym working out. So it's no different. You're just catching me in front of the scenes instead of behind the scenes. But if you come behind the scenes, we all are the same. And you can have your cake and eat it too. Right? And it just takes that preparation, that time and dedication and commitment to get there. And that's what I do. I coach my clients and my customers to go through that process so that they can get there too.
Okay. So now what would you say to a person who's sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired? How can your book help them?
Wow. It's my favorite kind of person. Because that means they're right on track. Success. Because so many stories I heard of successful people and how they failed before they became successful. They got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I like that because that says that you are finally sick and tired of your own process.
All right.
You can get rid of that thing now. See, some people come and they say they're tired, but they hold on to the same process. And if you still holding on to the fact that you still want to eat fried chicken and you still want to eat cookies, but you're telling me you want to change the way you look, but you're not going to give that up, but you're giving me the ultimatum of, I'm going to do this and I may give you 1 hour a week.
Right.
Well, you're not really tired of being tired. No,
you're not ready yet. Tired
is when the doctors say you got diabetes and it's time to change your lifestyle. Then we tend to get serious about this thing because when the doctor told me I had a blood clot that almost killed me, I got real serious really quick. I don't want that to be somebody's motivation to have to go that far. So to answer that question, that lets me know that they're really ready to try a process that has been proven to work. When they're really tired of being tired and sick and tired, that means they have tried what they felt was everything and didn't get the results they expected. So now I really got someone who I know is going to be really ready and committed to the process to get them to where they want to be.
And all excuses are gone,
all gone. Excuses, fears, because they're tired. They can't be no more tired than being sick and tired.
That's right.
Now you're ready.
So now you said you're happy. How do you stay happy? I know Christ is in your life. What do you do for fun, outside of Christ and outside of working that keeps you happy?
I spend time with my family. And, I think I'm funny, but I'm not a comedian, but we're jokesters, so we're always laughing and joking. We laugh at ourselves. I love comedy, so I'll watch comedy. I think laughter is healing. Because we got enough to cry about. We put Channel 27 News on at 11 o'clock. Unfortunately, see some things that,
all the time.
My children, watching them grow and seeing them take the tools as a parent, not a perfect parent, an imperfect parent, but still take the tools they were taught and apply it to their own life as they venture off. Mine are 17 and 22 now. So I feel like, wow, they're growing up real fast on me. And just, I've learned in being single, I found out some things that I like. Because when you're not single, you don't have a lot of time to focus on you because you're trying to be something for everybody. The wife, the mom, the boss, or co-worker. That I took the time to find out, what does Juliet like? And I found that I like going to the movies. I tried different foods. Started reading. And I'm a big movie. Like I can curl up with my blanket on the couch. I learned that I like National Geographic. Who'd have thought?
Really?
Yeah, I was like, so you do like watching this? Yes, I do. Talking to myself. I like that, and I do like cake, but I try not to eat too much of that.
Yeah, okay.
She is back in the gym for the fifth time.
Yes.
But I do like I'll walk, and I've learned to what I call stop and smell the roses. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'll walk just to pray
Okay.
or enjoy the fact that God has given me life.
Okay.
And I find fulfillment in the little things, what they call the simple things, the
Okay.
simplicity of the small things that truly do mean a lot.
Okay. So now, if you could get a do-over in your life, is there anything you would change?
That I would change. No, because then I wouldn't be me. I
Okay.
wouldn't be who I am today if I
Okay.
changed anything about what happened before I got here. I'd have
Right.
less to be humbled and thankful for.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'd be messing with God's design. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and knowing me, he needed to teach me some of those hard lessons because I'm hard headed. I thought
Yeah.
I think I was at a point where I thought I knew it all. And even had to apologize to him, like, oh, wait a minute now, I forgot. Yes, you are the creator. And I
Yeah.
have to realize you are there. And although you're silent, you are watching me.
Yeah.
I better get this right before Judgment Day. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't change because then, like I said, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. So I take
Okay.
my life as a pattern to learn from those mistakes,
Okay.
to know what not to do in my
Okay.
future. So.
Okay. So now, how do you deal with rejection? And what would you tell other women about,
I don't like it.
you know?
I don't like it.
Yes.
Anybody's gonna tell you they like rejection. Oh no, rejection hurts. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Okay.
Lil J over here gets her feelings hurt real quick because no has never been my friend.
Okay.
But I had to learn that no doesn't mean never.
Okay.
It just might mean not now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn to be okay with that
Okay.
because not everything is going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's what really getting in relationship with God and figuring out what your purpose is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that you're living the right purpose, because it's the worst when you think when you're going after something that's still
That's not.
you,
That's right. That's
right?
right.
You don't want to be at the gym trying to build your calves when all along you just wanted to lose the stomach. So you're like, well, what kind of trainer did I have? I got some nice calves, but my belly's still here. I came into that,
Yes. Yes.
that. So you want to make sure you're targeting the right areas in your life. And
Okay.
yeah, I would say just be encouraged,
Okay.
and focus on the right area,
Yes.
the right path, and the right
Okay.
people.
How important is it to set goals and believe in yourself when you're going after a dream?
It's very important.
Okay.
To not have a plan is kind of like walking around like Moses for 40 years in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Even in business, you have to have a plan. You have
Yes.
to know where you're starting,
Mm-hmm.
and where you going, and where you want to end up.
Okay.
To feel like that you've accomplished. So you've got to have a life plan and a business plan
Okay.
in place.
Okay.
And I can't stress it enough, Debbie, the basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible, is the first blueprint proven to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
that allows us to have that as a starting plan for life. And
Mm-hmm. So now, what does it mean to you to empower women?
It empowers me to
Okay.
empower others. There was someone, and believe it or not, this wasn't even a woman, that a lot of times when you don't know that you're impacting someone,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you don't hear it, you tend to wonder,
Okay.
Is it effective?
Right.
Am I really being impactful?
Right.
One person told me one day that if it wasn't for what I did, they would have died. I just thought, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. They said I
Yeah.
would have been sitting on my couch, still eating bad, and my
Wow.
condition. And they said I would not have gotten up from doing that. But
Okay.
you motivated me to go after my dream. And now they're so booked and so busy, they're turning things away and down.
Mm-hmm.
And that person, got their health together, got
Okay.
their life back,
Wow.
and is alive
Incredible.
today.
Yes.
That's my why.
Okay.
That makes me feel good because I
Okay.
feel like there are people out there that need something. And
Right.
even though I didn't know it, I was impacting someone without even knowing that I was impacting them.
Right. Okay.
And I had
Okay.
another person said that because I sing too, and when I had put my album out some
Oh
years
yeah.
ago,
Okay.
a guy stopped me after an event and he said, they played your song in prison. I had
Okay.
no idea that my song was being played
Wow.
at his prison or even in prison.
Okay.
And he said, if it wasn't for that song, I don't know if I would have made it.
Right. Okay.
And I
Okay.
thought, wow.
Yeah.
So
That's
even if you,
impactful.
even if you
Mm-hmm.
can't see the people
Yeah.
or get
Yeah.
that type of feedback, just know that somewhere somebody is being touched and their life is being changed.
Yes. 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 And
Yeah,
that's what I hope this blog does, touches people's lives. I can't touch them physically. I can be where they are, but the words through people like,
that's right.
yeah, can touch and move and inspire.
That's right.
Yes, yes. So you have any last words that you would like to say to women?
Never give up. No matter what it looks like or how hard it is, don't give up. I was watching National Geographic. We just talked about that. I found
Yes,
out like,
yeah.
all jokes aside, I watched this thing and they were showing me chimpanzees, and there was a chimp called David.
Okay.
And David had ruled that particular part of their land for 3 years, and his time
Okay.
was coming short.
Okay.
And they had a drought and they needed to move on.
Okay.
Right before the drought, a woman, a boss lady, she came by. It was that season, and all the males get to fighting and carrying on because they want to, connect with the lady. And
Hmm.
he had to fight. He
Okay.
tried to build his allies, and he thought
Okay.
he had them, but they turned on him.
Okay.
They beat David and left him for dead.
Wow.
And David was laying there, and they had to move on. And one ally, he tried, but he was outnumbered as well. So they moved on without David. And I thought, well, that's it. That's it for David. I mean, after I went through all of that, I connected with David. I said, well, David can't just die on me.
Right.
David got inner strength.
Okay.
He got up. It was 115 degrees.
Oh.
He was going
Okay.
to die.
Okay.
There's no more water left, no food. There was fires everywhere.
Okay.
And he started to eat whatever shrub, whatever he could find. He healed himself, got just enough strength to walk 6 miles
Okay.
to where the rest of the group was. They were shook when they saw David. Now, he was weak.
Yeah.
But he had to put on that he was strong.
Right. Right.
So when he got there, he thought, okay, I guess I have to get into another fight.
Right. Right.
He started to pretend, and he did this really weird kind of move with his shoulders up real
Right.
high, and he had to pretend that he was really big and strong. Like, you don't want none of this.
Right.
That they all backed away.
Okay.
And he went to a corner and he really let down and felt like, oh my gosh, that took everything out of him. He would have lost if he would have fought, but he put on.
Right.
And
Okay.
the moral of that story and the end of that story is he ended up being king. They didn't challenge him and they all came to him, but he was left for dead. And so there's a David in all of us. That no matter what it looks like, he could have said, well, I'm beat down. I got to walk 6 miles.
Yeah.
I can even get water. There's no food between here and 6 miles. I don't know what I might as well just stay here and die. What am I going to do? They're going to beat me when I get there.
Right.
But he didn't give up.
Okay.
And in watching that, I learned a lesson not only for myself, but to share with others, that you would be surprised of the greatness, like Les Brown always says, that is deep within you. To get up like David and don't quit. Keep going. Don't accept defeat. Keep going, because like him, and sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. He, showed up and was, ruffling his stuff around and was tired as all tired could be walking 6 miles, right?
Right.
That's what you got to do to get back in the game and know that, the possibility is still there and it's endless.
Yes.
So that's what I would say.
Powerful.
As last words to anybody. You be David.
Yes.
And let them be surprised that there is some inner strength still left within you.
Yes. Well, thank you, Juliet.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say you've been like a really powerful guest.
Thank you
so much. And I just hope that you continue to do what you're doing. You're doing an awesome thing.
Thank you.
Say, have a wonderful day.
You too.
I had a lovely time talking to you.
All right.
The readers will get everything they need to get from what you said.
Yay, I got it right here.
Yes.
And
if people wanted to contact you, give them your contact information.
Absolutely. They can go to my website at www.vipfortune500consulting.com, or they can go to my website. They can email me at vipfortune500@yahoo.com, or they can go for the online coaching at www.zero2toceo.online.